we would like to hear you more, but because of limited time, I'm just going to pass the stage to Ludmila Moskаленко. She is our newest member, and she is going to share with us the situation about the Ukraine. So I can't see Ludmila, but I hope she is here. Yeah, okay.
It's okay?
Yeah, don't move, just speak, yeah, don't move.
Okay, okay. It's a very responsible task for me to talk now about Ukrainian resilience in the time of war against us, because someone knows too much about this war and someone knows almost nothing. And even in Ukraine, we have a different experience in this war. So I will share my personal reflections based on my own professional and personal experience. I live in the central part of Ukraine. A Russian army was stopped in 80 kilometers from my city, but we have heard the sound of a battle. We had a lot of rocket attacks in our region and a few on my city. And one of them was in a few hundred meters from my house. I want to share with you only one picture about this war. And this is Europe. This is 21st century. And I think a lot about our resilience. What did help us to survive, to live, and to think about the future. And I tried to look to our national symbols. And now I want to show you only a few of them. And please look what you feel when you can watch them. The first one is a puppy, and it's the symbol of blood. People who were killed innocently. Another is the periwinkle flower. This is beautiful flower which leaves are always green, even in winter, even under the snowy. The next one is viburnum, berries under the snow. Beautiful willow tree, which grow back each time after being cut in. Dew, which always appears in the morning with the sun rising. Bee, and storks and their nestles. And to understand our resilience is necessary to understand that for Ukrainians, struggle for freedom and for independence, it's our natural state. Because only the last 31 years, we have our own country in modern borders, but we need to defend these borders. Mostly in previous time, we have only very short times when we have our own country, and almost always we was our territory, we was the part of other countries. Mongol invasions, the Kingdom of Poland, Grand Duchy of Lithuania, the Austrian Empire, the Ottoman Empire, Russian Empire, Soviet Union. More than it, all those countries, they tried to gave some compulsion on us. Great man-made famine, we called it Holodomor in Soviet Union, deportations, dispossessions, destruction of our religion, language, and cultural ban. And what did help us? The first thing, I think that because of all this situation, we have independence from authorities, disobedience, autonomy, and non-recognition of government power and courage. Of course, it's a challenge for us to have our own successful country with such attitudes, but now it helps us a lot. I think that we have some pattern that obedience as a secondary capacity doesn't work. We don't have obedience in our relationship with our government, with our president, with any authorities in our country, but model as the primary capacity works. We trust our president not because he's our president. We trust our president because he became the model for us. We have now a lot of our modern heroes, and there were a lot of discussions in the first months of the war because the famous phrase, which was told by Ukrainian soldier, he said, "Russian warship, go away," but it was said with some unprintable words, and we had these words printed and published everywhere. These bad words, and this about our disobedience, which helps us. Another important thing, I think that our purposefulness despite all circumstances. You can see the field and the tractor on the field under the bombing because we need to do it. And we even have the joke about two neighbors. And this was the situation of the flood. And one man is looking to the garden of his neighbor, and he is watching the head of the neighbor, which is swimming, go back in the garden. And then the man realized that his neighbor is plowing his garden. And the man asked, what you are doing? And the man said, flood or not flood, but I need to plow. And this about us and about our lifestyle now. Another important thing is our home, our family, and our small community as a treasure. In such historical situation, this helped us to survive every time. And that's why many of Ukrainians didn't leave their homes even in very dangerous regions. And that's why almost all refugees, Ukrainian refugees in Europe now, they want to come back. One of my clients, she said how she was crying when she came back to Ukraine and when she crossed the border of Ukraine. The next important thing is, of course, humor, creativity, because we can use only fantasy how to cope with this situation. And really, as Fariba said about the situation in Iran, we really have every day a lot of new jokes and the creativity situations. And now you can see one of our hero, the women who stopped the Russian drone using a tomato chair on her balcony, and she became one of our heroes. So it's only one of example. And the next important thing, I think that our traditions, our Ukrainians who are now in Europe, they told that European people were surprised that we wear our traditional clothes as usual clothes. Almost all Ukrainians have such clothes. We call it vyshyvanka. And in other European countries, of course, people have their traditional clothes, but it's for museums, but not for everyday use, but we use it. And how it's possible to be in the country in the 21st century, in which young IT specialists wear his traditional clothes? I think it's impossible. And the last symbol I want to share, it's Tree of Life. It's a symbol we always used on traditional towels. It was very interesting experience for me before the war. In a few days before the war, I was taking part in some international seminar about transgenerational trauma, and we were talking a lot about our transgenerational traumas as Ukrainians. This seminar was in English, and I didn't explain my family members what it was about. But in the evening, my 7-year-old son, he came to me and he said that he drew the picture, and he drew the tree of his ancients, and this tree was, it looks like this tree, but he didn't know about it. And that gives me hope that we will win, because we must win. Thank you very much.